Alright guys, bear with me here. This is my first video and I've got my kids here watching Jungle Book in the background, so there might be some interruptions. Anyway, I'm going to try and show you how to rebuild the Arctic tank by Horizon Tech, the coil head. This is one that I've already built, and I've got in the tank here. Coming in at 0.31 ohms at 55 watts here. Of course, the Vicious Ant variant clone runs a little hot because it's set to mean instead of RMS. So this is probably closer to 70 watts or so. But anyway, give you a vapor production. Saturated vape. Very, very flavorful. I haven't got any dry hits off of it, but I haven't really gone above this wattage on it. Seems to be my sweet spot. So anyway, what I'm using is the 24 gauge nichrome. Just take two pieces, even lengths, enough to make a coil, I don't know, probably around 10 inches or so. I don't worry about a little bit of waste because it makes it easier in the end. So what I've done is I have already, and I got one of these tools from Fast Tech, but I've already set up a parallel micro coil here, and I wrapped it on the highest or the biggest setting, which is 3.5 millimeters. And I think the coils that are in it are actually 4 millimeters. So the draw does diminish ever so slightly, but I'm okay with that. If I find something 4 millimeter, then I'll wrap it on that, but until then, this is what I got and it works. So anyway, I wrapped it on this, and then I took it off. I squeezed it with a pair of needle nose, and I torched it. So I've already got that out of the way, so you don't have to sit there and watch that. So all I'm going to do now is the difficult part, or what I thought was the more difficult part. So basically, what you want to make sure of is that all of your wires are not overlapping at all. And so what I do here is this is going to be my positive lead, just because I think that it's the easiest one to do. So I grab it basically at the base, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it to where now both wires are even with what would be the bottom of the coil. And then once I've done that, I'm just going to simply bend it straight down at a 90-degree angle. So you'll end up with something kind of like that. You're basically going to do the same thing at the top, but you want to leave a little gap between the coil and the wire, and you'll find out why here in a minute. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do that to the top as well. So I just
programs like Grammy Amplifier are incredibly important.
Hold on, let's get this. So I just grab it, turn it, and then once I've done that, I'm going to bend it at a 90-degree angle. So basically, we're going to end up with something very much like this. I guess I can go ahead and take it off and show you guys what we're looking at. So that's what we've got now. So in this gap here, the reason why we have this gap is that's where we're going to start the cotton when we come wrapping around this coil. And so the way I do my cotton is I use this Japanese organic cotton, and so this is a fresh sheet. The way I do it is I grab it and I just peel it in half. I find that this is about the right thickness for what you're going to want to do. And then I'll grab a fresh coil head. This is right out of the package, brand new. So just like every other coil, you pull the 510, whoops, sorry. Pull this little 510 pin out of the bottom. You're left with the grommet, just like the Aspire, the Kanger, everything that's out there. Pull a little grommet out, and then you can push these coils right out of the top. Well, trying to do it without destroying them so you guys can see what's actually in here. Okay, I got at least the first one here. And so this is what's inside. Basically, you've got one coil, and it's just sitting on top of the other here. So I'll pull this one out. So they've just got this, like, it's like a cotton pad here, if I can grab it. They just got this little cotton pad. They got two of them, and they just wrap around the coil. And these are what you have inside of the head. There's two of these. They're obviously using no resistance, no resistance wire. And it looks like on the bottom of this coil they actually wrap probably the positive terminal with an insulation. So anyway, I'll go ahead and pull the rest of this out of here. This is the other coil. Once again, we've got this little cotton wraps. And I'm not sure what kind of cotton they're using, or maybe it's the wire, I don't know. I don't know, this isn't Japanese cotton, or doesn't look like my cotton at all. It's not very fibrous, it's very packed and in layers. So I don't know if it's the cotton that gives it the bad flavor at first, or if it's the wire that they're using, or what. But anyway, you don't have that problem when you use the Japanese cotton and the nichrome. It's ready to go right out of the gate. So anyway, the way I do it is on the side of these coils, you've got this gigantic juice window, and I just basically cut the cotton in a strip the same width as that juice window. So I've got my half sheet here. I'll just kind of measure it up, and I'll cut it a strip about yay big. A little too big. And there we go. So that's what I've got, is a piece of cotton strip, same size all the way up, pretty uniform, nice and flat, no scragglies really hanging off of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by that little gap between your negative lead, your negative lead and your coil is where we're going to put the cotton, like that. And the way I find easier is just to put it back on this tool. because I'm going to want to compress the cotton pretty tight. Okay, so you can see here I've got it started to wrap around, and I put the cotton. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So anyway, what I do here is the cotton is in between the wire and the coil there. So as you come back around with the cotton, you're going to overlap that wire in there and insulate it again. So it's insulated from the coil and it's insulated from the wall of inside the coil head. So I come back around again, and that's where I'm going to cut it. That's where I'm going to stop, right there. Just like so. And then I just kind of work with it for a second here. Try and get the cotton all smooth.
I got you.
But that's basically what you're going to have. So again, I leave it on the tool, find its easiest. And don't worry about the cotton being too tight, because the way I do it is, you remember which way you wrap the cotton. When you go to put the coil head, when you go put the coil inside the coil head, you're going to turn it the same direction as the cotton wrapped. Around the coil. So I've got it up there like that, and what I do is I simply start twisting the coil head, and you can see it just cinches right up into it. It just goes right into place. Anyway, that's pretty much what it looks like when you get it in there. Just make sure that you don't go too far down, because I will say that the 510 center pin that you got to put back in there is a little long. So you want to make sure that it doesn't actually touch the bottom of that coil inside there. So anyway, I'm going to take the shorter leads and pull those off to one side. And then I'm going to take the grommet, put the leads through it, and push that into place. Actually, it might be easier to get rid of this tool now. Like so, and then just make sure these leads don't cross, and just pull them off to the side as well. So it's like that. And you can see right up the middle of it. And that's damn near a done coil. Got a little scraggly of cotton right there. I don't like it, but whatever. Also, I find the easiest way to not tear your insulators or to make them last longer is when you put the pin in, kind of when you put it in, you kind of put it in cockeyed, like so. I always make sure that I slip it in to where the side going in first is where my negative terminals are, and then the side coming in last is where my positive terminals are. So all the rubbing happens against the positive wires instead of your rubber grommet. Makes it last a little bit longer, at least in my opinion. But anyway, slip that back in there. And then the only thing left really to do is to wiggle these leads off. Hi, sweetheart. How you doing?
Don't make it sour apples.
Really? Anyway, I know you can clip them with nail clippers or whatever. I find that they come off cleaner if you just hold down the 510 pin real strong and just wiggle them off. They come off real clean. It's a little bit of work, but whatever. It works better in my opinion. So anyway, that is a completely finished and rebuilt coil head, ready to go. And get a vape here. I'll put the coil inside of my tank so we can get an ohm reading on it. So again, that's the one we just built. Should come in about 0.3-ish. And we're getting 0.34, which is where I started when I first built. It came out to 0.31 after I started using it. It kind of dropped a little bit. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed it. If not, I hope it was at least informative. Guys, vape on and enjoy. I hope this helped somebody out. All right, bye.